everybody. It's Judge Julie Kalin, and this is our virtual town hall. It's 5:36 and nobody's popped on, so maybe nobody's going to pop on, and that's okay. We're doing these every 2 months just to give voters an opportunity to come and talk to me and let me know, what's on their mind and anything they might want to ask. Judicial candidates, historically are very hard for people to figure out, how to vote. And we have not done anything to make it a whole lot easier. If you look at most judicial candidates' websites, they don't even talk about what they think on the issues. So that's one thing that I hope changes as the campaign season goes on. I've made a lot of effort to try to be very clear on my website where I stand on the issues that we are allowed to talk about. And so that's something else that I would like to put out there into the world, is that and people would have no reason to know this, so I don't know why they would. So it's up to us to tell people about it, that judges have a lot of rules that they have to follow when campaigning about things that they can and cannot say and do. And that is even more true for candidates who are already sitting judges. The last time that I ran for judge, I was not a judge yet. I am now. And no judges are allowed to talk about cases that are currently pending before them, or to indicate how they would rule on a case that came before them. So this is really funny. I feel like there's a strange filter on. I've got to fix it. It's driving me batty. Let's see here. Oh my gosh. Eyebrows are on. I don't know why eyebrows are on, but I fixed it. Okay. So now that I have my normal eyebrows, we can keep talking. So judges are not allowed to talk about cases that are pending before them, or say how they would rule on a particular type of case, because obviously you don't want someone to come in front of you and feel like you've already committed yourself to rule one way or another before you've even heard the distinct facts of that case. So we are not allowed to talk about those things. However, there's still an awful lot that we can talk about. And things that we can talk about are procedural issues. So, for example, since I've been on the bench, I've really tried to be very transparent with the public about how district court operates and how we make the decisions that we make about how court runs. Those are not things that we are prohibited from talking about. And I do feel like a lot of judges and judicial candidates hide behind the rules about what we can and can't talk about to avoid talking about things that they absolutely can talk about. Here's some examples of that. Back in, shortly after I took the bench, I proposed that we come up with a vacation policy. That was something that I had campaigned about. It's something that I still think is important. But it didn't get anywhere, unfortunately. There was a lot of concern about, if we set a certain amount of vacation and people don't want to take that long, will they use up that time anyway just because they have it? And also we didn't really, we felt like the amount that we would give judges, they aren't taking for the most part. Although I will tell you that there are, some judges that miss more days than others, certainly. So that is one of the things that I wanted to talk about publicly and that I was allowed to talk about publicly. So anyway, that didn't go anywhere. And that's the story of a lot of the things I've tried to do since I've been in district court. Shortly after March 2020, when Breonna Taylor was killed, I also introduced pretty sweeping search warrant reform rule change proposal, presented it to my fellow term members well in advance of the meeting. I think it was about a month or a few weeks before we met. I presented them with the rule change. It was just one page, comprehensive, but not lengthy to read and review. We met to discuss it. There were a lot of people who wanted to delay vote on it to see what other governmental bodies might do, like the search warrant task force created by Daniel Cameron or the Criminal Justice Commission. So a lot of people just wanted to wait and see what others did. And I said then in the meeting, I'm telling you, we're going to be back here a year from now, and none of those bodies will have done anything. And guess what? It's now been 2 years, and none of those bodies have done anything. So that rule change, unfortunately, did not pass. And not only did it not pass, my fellow term members voted to vote in secret about that. So I can't tell you how any of them voted because I wasn't allowed to know. I was the only person on the entire district court term who voted against voting in secret with regards to the search warrant change proposal. So that's really frustrating. Obviously, I was very upset with the fact that we are all elected officials voting on a matter of public importance that we are not prohibited from speaking about, and yet well over the majority of my term mates voted to vote in secret. It's just really disappointing. So I think that you all have a right to know how they each voted, but I don't know. And I'm not allowed to know because of the vote to vote in secret. So that was another thing that I tried to change. There also, some of you might remember, one of the things that I've talked about publicly that we are allowed to talk about again is how we treat people held in our Louisville jail on out-of-county warrants. Currently, those people sit in jail till the other county gets them. And they might sit in jail for a week. They might sit in jail for more than a week, not knowing why they're there, not knowing if they have a bond that could be posted by someone such that they could get out of the jail. And I just think that that is a really, really bad practice. I tried to end it. I presented a vote saying from now on, if somebody comes into the Louisville jail on another county's warrant, they will be brought in front of a judge within 24 hours, if for nothing else, just to tell them why they are there and whether the other county has given them a bond that can be posted. That did pass. So that did pass, and within 4 days, we heard that it was not going to be implemented. Chief District Judge Annette Karam informed us that she had reached out to the Administrative Office of the Courts and the Supreme Court, and that their assistants had told her that it needed to be go through the proper rule change procedure, which takes a very long time, and didn't make a whole lot of sense to a lot of us because we have been doing so many things without making a rule change. And in the meeting where we voted on it, we had actually talked about how there could be some procedural issues with how it was written and that we would get back together and discuss it. And that didn't happen. Instead, we were just told, you got to go through the proper rule change procedure. And that's still ongoing. That motion was presented in February. It was voted on and passed in February or March. And here it is, June. No procedures have changed. So, you know, some days I feel like I'm not getting very far, but at least I'm there and making these motions, and I continue to do that. I think that it is really crucial for judges to be held accountable to the public. Prior to becoming a judge, I was an attorney, of course, for about 15 years before taking the bench. And I see how what judges do affects people's lives every single day, no matter what side of the courtroom you're on. And it is just so important for voters to be able to know what's going on at the courthouse and feel like they can trust their officials to be doing what is best for the public instead of what is best for the courts. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. It's 5:46. Nobody's popped in, so I'm probably going to go ahead and wrap this up. But I did want to give a little bit of a primer about things that judges can and can't talk about when they're campaigning. We will have another one of these virtual town halls in 2 months. I'll give you the next date. And in the meantime, you can always find us at www.kaylinforjudge.com. We are also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. That is the modern age, I suppose. And that's another thing that I should say is that I'm very technologically adept. I've set this all up myself. We're live streaming, which I set up. As many of you know, I live stream court every single time that I hold court, as long as, it's not a confidential proceeding. And that is also something that I had to set up on my own. The Kentucky Court of Justice and AOC has been awesome with getting us the resources we need to be able to do that. I just wish that more people would. I've had so many people, strangers, reach out to me and say, I never really understood how court worked until I was able to watch your YouTube videos. I've had teachers reach out to me and say that they play the videos for their classes so that they can see how court works. I've had entire law school classes watch the videos, and then we have been able to discuss things, procedural things. Of course, I can't talk about cases again. So our next virtual town hall is going to be August 9th. In the meantime, y'all, we're going to be doing so much campaigning out there, so much. So look for us. This weekend, we're going to be at some church picnics. Thursday, there's a really awesome youth build event that we're going to be at. Sunday is Father's Day, so I got to give it up for Papa Kaylin, everybody's favorite campaign dad. Got to be spending Father's Day with old Papa. So that's all, y'all. For anybody watching this, thanks for watching, and I can't wait